session 4, and the parable today is of 10 bridesmaids waiting for the bridegroom. Now this is a very different way of celebrating a wedding from what we are used to. The bridegroom would go to the bride's house where the celebrations would happen, but there was no actual absolute set time. There was just an approximate time that was given. The bridesmaids were not with the bride, but they'd wait for the bridegroom and they'd join him in a procession to the bride's house. And this is what the 10 girls were waiting for. Now the bridegroom made them wait so long that they got tired and they fell asleep. And suddenly there's a shout with the groom was on his way, and so the girls woke up. They all carried lamps and they had to trim them and get ready. But there was one problem. The groom had been so long that the oil in their lamps was running out, and half the girls didn't have any extra oil. And so they asked the other girls, can we borrow some of yours? And they said, well, no, because if you do that, then our lamps will go out too. You'll have to go and buy some from the oil sellers. And so they went off to buy it. But when they were gone, the bridegroom arrived, and so only 5 girls were able to go with the bridegroom. The other 5 missed out. They didn't only miss out on the procession, but it meant that they missed out on the celebrations. Now the story is a picture of when Jesus comes again and raises the question of whether we would be ready. But it's also relevant to us in the fact that we may well and truly die before Jesus comes again. Will we be ready to join in the feast of the kingdom? There were 10 girls. They would have all been dressed alike. They would have all had lamps. So they would have all looked like bridesmaids. But half of them didn't have the oil that they needed. And it's a picture that we need to take to heart. Are we just Christians on the surface? Do we think that attending church, living a good life will be enough? Because this story is saying, no, there needs to be more. And the more is the presence of God within us. And the presence comes through the Holy Spirit. As someone once said, it's no use having all the paraphernalia if you don't have the paraffin. Jesus gave us the promise that if we commit ourselves to him as ruler of our life, he will come and he'll live with us. And it's the Holy Spirit who brings his presence to us. And that's the starting point of being a Christian. And from there, it's a case of following in obedience and trust. Now, there are some things we cannot borrow, and we can't borrow our friend's relationship with God. We can't borrow our parents' relationship with God. It's something absolutely personal. God's not fooled by what we present on the outside. He looks at the heart. What terrible words they would be to hear at the end of our life, God saying, I never knew you, because by then it's too late. The previous parables have been about how God's love pursues us all our life. And so I believe that now is a good time to be caught.